Hi, it's Dave here. This is my wife, Kathy.
Hello.
This is the Cinemile, the podcast where we walk home from the movies. Today we are going to see another horror film by another Irish writer-director.
Second in 3 weeks.
I know.
Weird.
It's the season for Irish horror films in the middle of summer.
Why aren't these films coming out in October is my first question.
So we're going to see Hokum, which is by writer-director Damien McCarthy, who is from Cork, where we are right now.
Even better.
Love it.
Yeah.
Up Cork.
And this film was largely shot in Cork.
Yes, in a studio in Skibbereen, I believe.
Very cool, West Cork Studios. So that's all brilliant and wonderful to see all the talent in Cork. This director, we haven't seen his other films.
No, I've got Oddity on Blu-ray. I picked it up a few months ago, but I haven't watched it yet. And I meant to watch it in time for this, but I haven't done it yet.
Great prep, Dave.
So,
this is the kind of journalism you get on
I
this
know,
podcast.
right? But I will. I intend to watch it. But I've paid for it.
A lot of our listeners actually wrote in recommending Oddity to us, so it is on the list.
Hokum, you mean?
No,
Oddity. Oh, right, yes.
And then Hokum ended up being one of our most requested movies this year. On Instagram, we got so many messages from people asking us to see Hokum. So, and we already planned on seeing it anyway, so thank you everyone who asked. We are going to see it now. I'm excited, albeit I wouldn't have chosen to go and see two horrors in the space of 3 weeks.
Wouldn't have chosen Hokum?
I just wouldn't have chosen to watch this much horror. But of course, we're going to go and see it. Made by a Cork director, filmed in Cork.
Starring
Getting
Adam
great
Scott.
buzz. Yeah, great buzz. Adam Scott's been all over promoting it. It's really cool. And Adam Scott's such a huge actor to get for your film as well.
This is a podcast.
Yeah, we're in the middle of recording it now.
Sorry.
It's all right.
It
It's
is a
all right.
podcast,
Yeah.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you. All the best. Sorry, we got a quick interruption there. We got a fright from a local kid who cycled up on a bike and asked us if it was a podcast.
I've gotten my first jump scare of the evening.
That was an actual jump scare.
That was
yeah,
genuine.
I know.
Like that. I literally, someone cycled up behind me and said into my ear, "Is this a podcast?" And then we turned off the recorder and he said, "I hope you make it big." Did you hear him say that?
Oh no, I didn't say it. That's
so
nice.
Cute.
Doesn't he know we've already made it big? Does he not listen to the cinema? That was nice.
Why
nice
don't local children listen to our podcast?
I don't understand. I thought that was our target demo.
Anyway, that was very funny. We are now going in to see Hokum and you'll hear us on the way out.
Okay, see you soon.
First time in Ireland.
My folks came here for their honeymoon. Always wanted to come back.
Why didn't they?
I don't know if you've noticed, but there are some oddballs walking around this place.
There are worse things than strangers out there, Yank.
One of the members of staff is missing.
What about the honeymoon suite?
It's always locked.
I'm getting a weird feeling. Something feels off.
Jesus.
Okay, hi, we're back. We've seen Hokum. We're walking Homum. That's I can do better than that, but it's staying in.
Terrible.
If it's your first time here at the Cinemile, we won't spoil the movie until we get to Spoiler Street, of course. But Kathy, why don't you tell everyone how you feel coming out of Hokum?
I feel scared.
That was scary.
That's
yeah.
a scary film. That is a lot scarier than Lee Cronin's The Mummy, let me tell you. Hokum is very original. It is really spooky. I think it's a very good film. I highly recommend. I had a really good time with it. Did I spend at least 20% of the film with my hands over my eyes? Yes.
You really did.
I really did, because this film's really scary. There is an amazing use of sound in this film and score. And so I could just feel the build-up. Whenever I felt any bit of a build-up on the music, I just kind of quietly opted out. These sets are brilliant. It's proper spooky. I had a really good time with it. I think Adam Scott is, as always, very good. I think the story was really good. Very original, actually, which I think can be very difficult in a horror film of, like, stranger comes to town and stays in a spooky hotel, which is kind of the setting. And I do think this was very original. I thought the character's background was really interesting, very sad. I thought the surrounding cast of Irish actors were brilliant. I think it's a really good film. I love how it looked and kind of felt. But also, yes, I was very, very scared and kind of couldn't look at a lot of the screen. Dave, what about you?
Yeah, I loved it. This is a really good horror film, my God. It's like, I was a little unsure at first, because this is our first time watching anything by Damien McCarthy. And I felt like I was trying to get my bearings at the beginning. There's a sort of a prologue and an epilogue to this film, which is set in the imagination of a writer. So, which I think is an interesting way to start and end.
Yeah, I do as well.
The film. There's a lot. It's like quite thematically rich what he's written down here. And then I felt it was a little slow to get going and get its bearings, but once it sort of kicks in, and we'll talk about it in Spoiler Street, like the large body of the film and where Adam Scott ends up, I was just gripped. I was on the, like, my heart was in my mouth. It was so atmospheric and claustrophobic. And I'll echo what you said. Whoever was involved in the set design, the production design, of this particular, this isn't a spoiler, there's the Honeymoon Suite of this hotel is kind of the main setting, and it is,
it's not a place you'd want to stay.
so good. And one thing I was particularly impressed with Damien McCarthy's writing is that he really utilizes objects in his script, and they get introduced as very interesting, quirky little objects in a room, and then they pay off later in very interesting ways.
Check off spooky objects.
Yeah, and I will talk about them specifically, but I was impressed with that. I thought there's substance to the protagonist and his backstory as that unfolds. As you said, it's very tragic. I thought the cast of characters and Irish actors around Adam Scott were all excellent. It was a great little mystery as well.
Really
at the centre
good
of
to
it.
have a horror mystery. I do think it's quite unusual, and I think it worked so well. I think I'm really impressed by the story and the script.
And the but yeah, the spooky. It's
spooky.
It's scary. It's
Yeah.
really scary. I was very impressed with it. So I'm not sure what else to say. Before Spoiler Street, really, is there anything else you want to?
I think I really recommend you go and see it in the cinema, listeners, because of course jump scares are very fun in a cinema, and I personally apologise to the man I was next to because I was screaming during
Who,
the
me?
film. The other man. I don't care about you.
Were you next to someone else?
The other guy.
Yeah.
Because I was screaming. Like, the jump scares really got me.
There was one. I'm going to talk about one in Spoiler Street that really got me.
So I actually think horror and comedies are like the two genres. If you don't go to the cinema that much, laughing in a shared space or being scared in a shared space is like very cathartic and actually
exactly.
very enjoyable. Now, it's a long enough film, so I would say, like we said with The Mummy, actually, sorry to give it its proper title, Lee Cronin's The Mummy, go to it earlier in the evening if you can, because it's just a long film. But I never felt like it was overly long.
Is it? It's like 2
It's
hours.
about 2 hours, and
Yeah.
it just, if you go late at night, well, look, people usually message in and appreciate my warnings,
Okay.
duration and how early you should see a film, because most of us are just like half tired all the time. It's spooky and atmospheric and slow, so go at a time of the evening when you can handle that.
I know I started off, but I was like I said, I was unsure of my footing where this was going, because I didn't, when you go to see a film by a director who you're familiar with, and when you know you're in safe hands, you can kind of relax and kind of get on board with it. But so that was my feeling for the first half hour, 45 minutes. I was like, I hope I like this. I'm not sure if I do.
The added pressure of them being from
But
Cork.
now, I'm actually really, I'm actually really impressed by the patience and the confidence he had in
Same.
just slowly setting the table. And I think he's got a unique vibe and atmosphere. I'm really keen to finally put on the Blu-ray I bought now.
I know, we'll have to watch it now.
Catch up on Oddity, and Caveat, I think, was his first one, which I want to catch up
But
on.
also,
as well.
I was confident before that because, the way I think some actors have really good pickers for scripts, some don't. Adam Scott picks really good projects.
He does.
I
yeah.
don't think Adam Scott, And I didn't think before I saw the film that Adam Scott would come all the way to Ireland and film something if he didn't have a strong belief in the story and the ability of the director.
Yeah.
So I already thought it was going to be a good film.
It's a
Where
tight,
there's some
it's a tight
actors
little
where you're
script,
like,
isn't it?
there's some actors you really wouldn't trust, you know?
Yeah.
So I think having him
Name
there...
an actor you don't trust.
Glenn Powell.
Yes. I know what you mean.
He's in good movies, he's in terrible
No, but he's
movies.
in everything.
Exactly,
Glenn
yeah.
Powell is indiscriminate
Exactly.
in what he'll show up in.
Like, I always thought of George Clooney as having a good picker. Rarely see George Clooney in a bad film.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Now, someone whose picker has gone way off in recent years
Is
is
that a
Nicole
term,
Kidman.
picker? Or you
My
just
picker.
did you just make that up?
It's my term.
Okay.
Nicole Kidman. I actively distrust projects
Nicole
she's involved
Kidman's
in.
picker is broken.
It broke.
Her picker brain.
It broke somewhere about 10 years ago after season 1 of Big Little Lies, and it never recovered.
Again, we've said this before. She picks based on, is my character a new Upper New York socialite or not? And,
Yeah.
and if so, yes, do script.
Yeah, exactly.
How about Nicolas Cage is someone who is
Famous
famously
bad picker.
but just like picks everything.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
he doesn't pick. He just says, send me a script and I'll do it.
But also, not all actors can be so, discriminate. Like, people have to make a living,
Yeah, of course.
etc. But I do think Adam Scott picks really good projects. He's picked a great one here. Right, we're going to go to spoilers though, because it's difficult to discuss this film without spoilers.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to that. So you might hear a quick ad here and then we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. So we're going to talk full spoilers now for the movie Hokum. So
I
you
hope
have
no,
been warned.
I hope no local children come up and listen.
Yeah,
'Cause
I know
it's
they're all.
gonna get
There's
spooky.
a Stranger Things gang of children on bicycles behind us,
Waiting to give
listening
us jump
in on
scares.
our every word. So yeah, I thought, where do you want to start here?
I think so you've got there's a couple of things unraveling here at the same time. You got the slow unraveling of the mystery in the hotel, and particularly with the honeymoon suite, and Chekhov's old man early on telling us freaky stories about children in chains.
Honestly, one thing that surprised me about this film is that character disappeared. I was like, I thought that guy was going to have more of a place in this story.
I
He
didn't
literally
actually.
just like was scaring the shit out of two children, and then the other guy was like, "Don't be doing that, Seamus," or whatever his name was, and
No,
then
but
he exited, left, and never came back.
But that's where the film worked really well, I think, because he was the sage old person telling us the
Yeah.
truth at the beginning of the film.
And by the
he
way-
is mentioned, of course, many times as being your man's father and all that he's shit scared of.
Yeah, I know he's mentioned. I'm saying I was surprised that he wasn't featured more. But what I thought that was a great example of the beautiful little intricate parts of this set. The way they do the thing where you have to do the exposition, or the early on exposition, as you say, with the sage old person who describes the mythical creature and
Yeah.
what it does, and that is beautifully done. These little hand carved little figures of
Yeah.
screaming children
scary.
in like a chained up. And what an idea! I wasn't familiar with this in Irish folklore. This creature, this witch that brings unsuspecting children on a tour of the underworld.
Like, this is freaky stuff. And as soon as he did it all, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be in the film later. And then I forgot about it because so much else happened. So then when it came back, I was like pleasantly surprised
Such a
because
good
it's proper
idea.
freaky. So the setup of the honeymoon suite, then you've got the central mystery of that. Then you have the central mystery of the hotel staff member who goes missing. What happened to
That's
her?
when the film really kicked into
Really
gear for
kicked
me.
in.
When
And
he
then
wakes
you-
up from the, and by the way, it's dark. It's very dark when
I would say there's a
trigger.
there's
Well, it's too late
warning
for a
here.
trigger warning now.
No,
People have
it's
seen
not.
it. But
Well, a lot of people listen, or so they tell us when
Okay.
they haven't seen the film. Spoiler warning for suicidal ideation, and just mind yourself watching it. But that woman goes missing, so that's the second mystery. And then the third mystery is just, it's not so much a mystery to be solved, but it's just
Adam
a story
Scott's
to be
past.
revealed to us about his
Yeah.
mother. And like, it's so shocking. And to start on that one, and we're going to talk about gun violence here, so take care listening about gun violence. But as a child, he accidentally lets a gun off and shoots his mother dead. That is horrific. That's a horrific backstory for a character to have.
But what a
sad.
sad and tragic motivation this character has. He intends to return to the hotel where his mother and father had, what he thinks the happiest moments of their lives and their honeymoon. He scatters their ashes and then intends to take his own life.
Yeah,
that is incredibly
it's so
dark.
sad. And that's the backdrop to the horror film.
Yeah.
So that's not even like the main story, but that in and of itself, and there's such a freaky scene where he ends up kind of hallucinating and watching this really freaky TV show.
Yeah, which is the show, sort of a distorted version of the children's TV show he was watching while he was playing with the gun that killed his mother.
so
And
sad.
that thing is
That was
fucked
so
up.
scary. Like I could barely look at the screen while that stuff was happening.
When he, do you remember when he gets into the 4-poster bed, which is a great setup, when he
Oh,
gets
what
into the
about-
4-poster
yeah.
bed and wakes up and that bloody rabbit lady is looking at him with the googly eyes.
So freaky. And like
Scary
earlier on in the film, like we loads of little setups where the
chalk.
the
Yeah,
chalk
yeah,
was
yeah.
really good setup. So yeah, what do you think about the mystery of like the honeymoon suite and like what lies beneath and this like hellscape? I just think as this like setting is so important in horror, right?
Yeah.
And like it is
Yes.
cliched when people say that, oh, the setting needs to be a character, but it really does in horror.
Oh no, but he
Of all
spends so much
genres.
time in that room.
Yeah.
And that's when the movie came to life for
Yeah.
me, was when he's in that. As soon as he gets trapped in that room, I was like, oh my God.
Horrific.
Because they really
Nightmarish.
And that's why he did need the slow build where you're like I thought the whole thing was going to be in and around the hotel, and there's spooky stuff coming out of that suite into the rest of the hotel. Do you know what I mean? But no, the movie surprised me by being like you spend half an hour, 45 minutes being like, stay away from that awful, awful place. Don't ever go
Yeah.
in there. Oh no, he's trapped in there for the rest of the movie. I was like, oh my God.
Horrific.
Trying to get out of there. And just the little minute to minute stuff of him trying to, like, there's a lot of little MacGyver kind of stuff. Like he's trying to unscrew his way out with a knife. And then he realizes that one of the screws is the wrong size, and all the while there's something behind him.
I was not looking at that point. Like I was fully looking down.
It's really good.
I was like, it was so freaky. The imagery, the visuals, like the bit where he originally goes up with the hotel manager and he like presses the dumbwaiter button and your one's body just arrives up.
Very chilling.
And then like, so basically what underneath this hotel is like a hellscape of
Yeah.
like ghosts and chains and like freaky shit. And the honeymoon suite has access down. Also, then we kind of learn that the hotel manager had murdered her because she was pregnant and he didn't want his father-in-law to find out. So there was so much going on, and I really think the film knitted it all together. It's often the kind of film where they like, when there's this many strands, it just kind of falls apart. But this
Yeah.
film did not. Like I thought every part of it delivered, and then you ended up with kind of a deliverance for Adam Scott as well, because obviously he survives the suicide attempt. He survives this horrific kind of night in hell. And then at the end, when we see the end of his story that you referenced earlier, like he changes the end of the story from something of death and destruction to like hope.
Yeah.
And that's where sometimes I can roll my eyes at like a writer within a writer thing. But
Well, it's
actually,
a very Stephen King thing to do.
it
isn't
really
Yeah.
paid off here though, whereas often it's too cringe because it was light touch, but it just, I guess we got to see his inner, how he was approaching his like his views on himself and forgiving himself, because he's living in a perpetual state of hating himself because of what he did to his mother.
Yeah.
And he says like when he wrote that letter as she obviously I'd say wrote that letter as a child, and he's like, my dad hates me.
Yeah.
It's so sad, even though of course it's the dad's fault because children should never have access to guns. But you, of course, would take full responsibility if you had done that yourself.
But what a brilliant way to deliver that exposition with that letter from that creepy creature. That
so
distorted view.
scary.
It's like he managed to land the exposition in a way that was like really unsettling and creepy.
Yeah.
And moved the story forward.
There's a bit at the end where the mom, like the ghost of the mom, hugs him and he's like, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's
I'm
beautiful.
sorry. And she's like, it's okay. And I was just bawling, crying at that bit. But all the absolute hijinks and scary shenanigans in the hotel suite, I was like, I cannot look at this. Like, this is beyond scary.
The bit that really got me was, and I knew it was coming. Yeah, often you can see the stuff, and I think that's part of the magic trick, because they're making you. Horror directors put you in that uncomfortable place where you're waiting for a thing to happen, the suspense. But there's the set. I totally agree with you that the set is so important to this movie, and the geography of that honeymoon suite is very clearly conveyed to us.
Yeah.
That panel that was probably a window at one point that looks into the bathtub.
Oh my
Right, that goes
God.
into the ensuite of the bedroom. So there's two ways to get into this to the bedroom through the main door or through this giant hole in the wall that leads into that horrible bathtub. And at one point he goes into the room and it allows the camera to pan over to the left and then pan back to the right, and we see Adam Scott coming out, and suddenly there's a woman walking in step with him right behind him, and that's the bit that got me for whatever reason. It got me good. But the thing, I think the most masterful thing in this script, which I loved so much, was I love characters coming up with clever solutions to problems. That's why we like For All Mankind, or used to like it so much. And there's this brilliant little setup where there's this clock with a golfer on.
I love the clock.
And it goes off every, I couldn't figure out, is it every hour? How long has it been in there? But at a certain period, this club hits this ding, and it makes this, so it's used for atmospheric effect. And that's what I thought the extent of it was.
And it was used to it was atmospheric and creepy, and then it was annoying for the character, so it sent him into a heightened state.
Yeah.
And then he does this third function with it.
So good. When he figures out this one way ticket to hell down to this basement, and he uses the golf swing as a return mechanism.
That was so fun.
And then you get the timer factor of that, where you're like, he's got to be back. He's got his watch set. So you're down there in this added level of suspense. I was so impressed.
What about when he comes up and then it hits it again and he needs to jump out? That was really scary.
Oh my God, so good. And he's down there in the thing where and God, just even the small stuff like having to move a dead body.
That was so freaky.
It's freaky.
Yeah.
And when he's down there and the witch is coming towards him and he just sees her face. Oh.
Yeah, so good. I really, really enjoy it. As much as I'm not a horror gal, yes, I've gone to 2 horrors now in the space of a few weeks. I really enjoyed this film. I think it's really original. It's really cool. It deserves all the buzz it's getting. I'm thrilled that it was made in Cork.
It's really good.
I'm just so happy about the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I want more films made in Cork. And West Cork Studios have really taken off over the last few years. And they were hand painting these sets to make this film. And it's just wonderful. And I'm delighted we watched it.
One other thing I'd like to shout out is the actor David. I thought everyone was good in this, but David Wilmot, who plays Jerry, who was the murder suspect.
He was so
in
good.
the woods with the beard, and you come to really care for this character. So when he got shot in the head at the end by that
that was scary. That was another moment I screamed.
Sleazeball manager,
Yeah.
who was also Mal, played by Peter Coonan, who was great in this.
Yeah, he was really good.
So hateable. And when that happened, I was like, no, you really, I cared about these characters,
I
and
really
I wanted,
did,
and also the bell. When Adam Scott's ringing the bell, and I was just like, come on!
I know, the honeymoon
Hear
bell
the bell.
stuff was so good. I
Yeah.
absolutely loved the usage of the honeymoon bell. Then it breaks, then he's trying to fix it. Your man's going to that was pure Hitchcock tension there. That was
Yes.
so good.
I'm
I can't believe
super
this
impressed with Damien McCarthy.
So impressed. This is his third film. It's so good. It's totally masterful. I'm just thrilled we watched it.
How cool we've got I want Damien McCarthy to have his name above his movie, like Liam Cronin. Get all these Irish directors' names up there.
Yeah,
Let's
but it
go.
wouldn't make any sense. It's like Damien McCarthy's Hokum. It's
Lee Cronin didn't make sense either.
Yeah, but it made more sense in that there's loads of mummy franchises and they to differentiate.
So what
them.
we need is Damien McCarthy needs to be given a movie franchise that has had so many entries.
Even the name Hokum.
Damien McCarthy's Dracula. Let's go.
The name Hokum is such a good name for a film as
It is
well.
actually, yeah.
I love it. Very cool. Anyway, we gotta go. If you enjoyed listening to this, we would greatly appreciate wherever you listen, particularly Spotify, Apple Podcasts, if you could leave us a 5-star review and maybe write a review. The amount of reviews we have doesn't in any way match the amount of listeners we have, so I think most people don't leave them, but if you do leave it, we hugely appreciate it and we read them all. Actually, it's even easier on Spotify. You just click the stars. You can't even write anything. So yeah, and come over to Patreon, where we are talking about a lot of TV at the moment. We're talking about Beef Season 2, we're talking about Hacks, of course we're continuing to talk about For All Mankind, and we're reviewing a ton of other stuff, including a chat this week about The Pit, DTF St. Louis,
Rooster. We're talking about loads of TV.
Stranger Things, Tales from 85, loads going on.
And we just did our retro movie club last month on Jennifer's Body, and
so
we're
I need
about
to stop watching horror now. I've watched 3 horrors in
a lot of
one
horror,
month.
but I think you like horror.
I don't want to be watching it.
You've had enough for a while.
I've had enough for a while.
Take a break.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.